Okay, and so now if you are, if you've won a Nobel Peace Prize, or if you have represented your country in the Olympics, or if you're a concert virtuoso, or if you are another resounding talent in some international sphere, you can apply as a slam dunk, as I've called it, applicant for the Quality Migrant Admission Scheme visa. This program was introduced a few years ago to attract top-notch talent to Hong Kong, because we didn't, before this was introduced, have an opportunity for foreigners who were very, very special about what they are and what they've accomplished, who could simply apply for a visa that would allow them to come and contribute to Hong Kong. They normally needed to have an employment offer before they could be entertained to make that contribution. So the Immigration Department recognised this lacuna and they introduced the Quality Migrant Admission Scheme. So you've got the achievements-based test, that's the slam dunk test, and that's where they say, if you think that you're of such super special talent, claim the maximum number of points, tick the box, and then we'll consider you one off. On the other hand, if you're not that good, but you've still got something special about you, then you can apply under the general points test. And the general points test, without going into too many details, means that you have to have a certain minimum of your circumstances to satisfy the must-meet criteria, and then after that you're individually assessed on the totality of your family and your experience and your education, and they ascribe points to that, and then you say when you come to Hong Kong, which sort of sector of the economy you want to work in, and then when all of that occurs, the curtain comes down and you've no idea what happens, because there's a selection exercise that occurs at the back end and you don't know who you're competing against. And then when the Immigration Department are about to announce the outcomes, they just announce all those reference numbers that are approved and all those that are refused, and then you're on your way. So it's basically a black box experience. Now, when you look at the number of approvals under this program, you know that only 23% of applications ever get approved. And of those 23, 77% come from China. They really should be called the Quality Mainland Migrant Admission Scheme, because the numbers are overwhelming from China. And then when you look at the rest of the nationalities that are getting through, a lot of them are Chinese Americans, Chinese Australians, Chinese Canadians, and that's because of language issues which present themselves as a slight advantage on the application form, and the natural interest in these people to want to participate for obvious sort of reasons. But when you drill then down onto, well, who's everybody else that's getting approved, they tend to have very esoteric skill sets. So one was a ice hockey coach, another was an art therapist, a psychotherapist who uses art in achieving therapeutic outcomes. So they've got generally something interesting and esoteric about them when you get approved. So this is a program that takes 12 to 18 months to complete. It's a very administrative heavy, because you've got to justify at very, very granular levels of detail all of your experience and all of the education and all the rest of that. But if you're prepared to put the work in, it's a slow burner application. You might well get a visa and win the lotto. So that's the Quality Migrant Admission Scheme.